fuck up, dog. Great.
Her kind. I have gone out a possessed witch, haunting the black air, braver at night. Dreaming evil, I have done my hitch over the plain houses, light by light, lonely thing, 12-fingered, out of mind. A woman like that is not a woman, quite. I have been her kind. I have found the warm caves in the woods, filled them with skillets, carving, shells, closets, silks, innumerable goods. Fixed the suppers for the worms and the elves, whining, rearranging the disaligned. A woman like that is misunderstood. I have been her kind. I have ridden in your cart, driver, waved my nude arms at villages going by, learning the last bright roots, survivor where your flames still bite my thigh, and my ribs crack where your wheels wind. A woman like that is not ashamed to die. I have been her kind. The ambition bird. So it has come to this. Insomnia at 3:15 a.m., the clock tolling its engine like a frog following a sundial, yet having an electric seizure at the quarter hour. The business of words keeps me awake. I am drinking cocoa, that warm brown mama. I would like a simple life, yet all night I am laying poems away in a long box. It is my immortality box, my layaway plan, my coffin. All night dark wings flopping in my heart, each an ambition bird. The bird wants to be dropped from a high place like the Tallahatchie Bridge. He wants to light a kitchen match and immolate himself. He wants to fly into the hand of Michelangelo and come out painted on the ceiling. He wants to pierce the hornet's nest and come out with a long godhead. He wants to take bread and wine and bring forth a man happily floating in the Caribbean. He wants to be pressed out like a key so he can unlock the Magi. He wants to take leave among strangers, passing out bits of his heart like hors d'oeuvres. He wants to die, changing his clothes and bolt for the sun like a diamond. He wants, I want. Dear God, wouldn't it be good enough to just drink cocoa? I must get a new bird and a new immortality box. There is folly enough inside this one. Ringing the bells. And this is the way they ring the bells in Bedlam. And this is the bell lady who comes each Tuesday morning to give us a music lesson. And because the attendants make you go, and because we mind by instinct like bees caught in the wrong hive, we are the circle of the crazy ladies who sit in the lounge of a mental house and smile at the smiling woman who passes us each a bell who points at my hand that holds my bell, E flat. And this is the gray dress next to me, who grumbles as if it were special to be old, to be old. And this is the small hunched squirrel girl on the other side of me, who picks at the hairs over her lip, who picks at the hairs over her lip all day. And this is how the bells really sound, as untroubled and clean as a workable kitchen. And this is always my bell responding to my hand that responds to the lady who points at me, E flat. And although we are no better for it, they tell you to go, and you do. Music swims back to me. Wait, mister, which way is home? They turned the light out and the dark is moving in the corner. There are no signposts in this room. 4 ladies over 80 in diapers, every one of them. La, la, la. Oh, music swims back to me, and I can feel the tune they played the night they left me in this private institution on a hill. Imagine it, a radio playing, and everyone here was crazy. I liked it and danced in a circle. Music pours over the sense, and in a funny way, music sees more than I. I mean, it remembers better, remembers the first night here. It was the strangled cold of November. Even the stars were strapped in the sky, and that moon too bright, forking through the bars to stick me with a singing in the head. I have forgotten all the rest. They lock me in this chair at 8 a.m., and there are no signs to tell the way, just the radio beating to itself, and the song that remembers more than I. Oh, la, 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 this music swims back to me. The night I came, I danced a circle and was not afraid, mister. The truth the dead know. For my mother, born March 1902, died March 1959, and my father, born February 1900, died June 1959. Gone, I say, and walk from church, refusing the stiff procession to the grave, letting the dead ride alone in the hearse. It is June. I am tired of being brave. We drive to the Cape. I cultivate myself where the sun gutters from the sky, where the sea swings in like an iron gate, and we touch. In another country, people die. My darling, the wind falls in like stones from the white-hearted water, and when we touch, we enter touch entirely. No one's alone. Men kill for this or for as much. And what of the dead? They lie without shoes in their stone boats. They are more like stone than the sea would be if it stopped. They refuse to be blessed, throat, eye, and knuckle bone. With mercy for the greedy, for my friend Ruth, who urges me to make an appointment for the sacrament of confession. Concerning your letter in which you ask me to call a priest, and in which you ask me to wear the cross that you enclose, your own cross, your dog-bitten cross, no larger than a thumb, small and wooden, no thorns this rose. I pray to its shadow, that gray place where it lies on your letter, deep, deep. I detest my sins, and I try to believe in the cross. I touch its tender hips, its dark-jawed face, its solid neck, its brown sleep. True, there is a beautiful Jesus. He is frozen to his bones like a chunk of beef. How desperately he wants to pull his arms in. How desperately I touch his vertical and horizontal axis. But I can't. Need is not quite belief. All morning long I have worn your cross, hung with package string around my throat. It tapped me lightly as a child's heart might, tapping second hand, softly waiting to be born. Ruth, I cherish the letter you wrote. My friend, I was born doing reference work in sin, and born confessing it. That is what poems are. With mercy for the greedy, there the tongues wrangle, the world's pottage, the rat's star. The Starry Night. Vincent van Gogh, in a letter to his brother. That does not keep me from having a terrible need of, shall I say the word, religion. Then I go out at night to paint the stars. The town does not exist except where one black-haired tree slips up like a drowned woman into the hot sky. The town is silent. The night boils with 11 stars. Oh, starry, starry night, this is how I want to die. It moves. They are all alive. Even the moon bulges in its orange irons to push children like a god from its eye. The old unseen serpent swallows up the stars. Oh, starry, starry night, this is how I want to die. Into that rushing beast of the night, sucked up by that great dragon, to split from my life with no flag, no belly, no cry. Letter written on a ferry while crossing Long Island Sound. I am surprised to see that the ocean is still going on. Now I am going back, and I have ripped my hand from your hand, as I said I would, and I have made it this far as I said I would, and I am on the top deck now, holding my wallet, my cigarettes, and my car keys at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday in August of 1960. Dearest, although everything has happened, nothing has happened. The sea is very old. The sea is the face of Mary without miracles or rage or unusual hope, grown rough and wrinkled with incurable age. Still, I have eyes. These are my eyes, the orange letters that spell Orient on the life preserver that hangs by my knees, the cement lifeboat that wears its dirty canvas coat, the faded sign that sits on its shelf saying, keep off. Oh, all right, I say, I'll save myself. Over my right shoulder I see 4 nuns who sit like a bridge club, their faces poked out from under their habits, as good babies who have sunk into their carriages. Without discrimination, the wind pulls the skirts of their arms. Almost undressed, I see what remains, that holy wrist, that ankle, that chain. Oh God, although I am very sad, could you please let these four nuns loosen from their leather boots and their wooden chairs to rise out over this greasy deck, out over this iron rail, nodding their pink heads to one side, flying four abreast in the old-fashioned side stroke, each mouth open and round, breathing together as fish do, singing without sound. Dearest, see how my dark girls sally forth over the passing lighthouse of Plum Gut, its shell as rusty as a camp dish, as fragile as a pagoda on a stone, out over the little lighthouse that warns me of drowning winds that rub over its blind bottom and its blue cover, winds that will take the toes and the ears of the rider or the lover. There go my dark girls, their dresses puff in the leeward air. Oh, they are lighter than flying dogs, or the breath of dolphins. Each mouth opens gratefully, wider than a milk cup. My dark girls sing for this, they are going up. See them rise on black wings, drinking the sky without smiles or hands or shoes. They call back to us from the gauzy edge of paradise. Good news, good news. Little girl, my string bean, my lovely woman. My daughter at 11, almost 12, is like a garden. Oh, darling, born in that sweet birthday suit, and having owned it and known it for so long, now you must watch high noon enter, noon, that ghost hour. Oh, funny little girl, this one under a blueberry sky, this one, how can I say that I've known just what you know and just where you are? It's not a strange place, this odd home, where your face sits in my hand so full of distance, so full of its immediate fever. The summer has seized you as when, last month in Amalfi, I saw lemons as large as your desk-side globe, that miniature map of the world, and I could mention, too, the market stalls of mushrooms and garlic buds all engorged, or I think even of the orchard next door where the berries are done, and the apples are beginning to swell. And once, with our first backyard, I remember I planted an acre of yellow beans we couldn't eat. Oh, little girl, my string bean, how do you grow? You grow this way. You are too many to eat. I hear, as in a dream, the conversation of the old wives speaking of womanhood. I remember that I heard nothing myself. I was alone. I waited like a target. Let high noon enter, the hour of the ghosts. Once the Romans believed that noon was the ghost hour, and I can believe it too, under that startling sun. And someday they will come to you. Someday men, bare to the waist, young Romans at noon where they belong, with ladders and hammers while no one sleeps. But before they enter, I will have said, her bones are lovely. And before their strange hands, there was always this hand that formed. Oh, darling, let your body in, let it tie you in comfort. What I want to say, Linda, is that women are born twice. If I could have watched you grow as a magical mother might, if I could have seen through my magical transparent belly, there would have been such ripening within your embryo, the seed taking on its own, life clapping the bedpost, bones from the pond, thumbs and two mysterious eyes, the awfully human head, the heart jumping like a puppy, the important lungs, the becoming while it becomes, as it does now, a world of its own, a delicate place. I say hello to such shakes and knockings and hijinks, such music, such sprouts, such dancing mad bears of music, such necessary sugar, such goings on. Oh, little girl, my string bean, how do you grow? You grow this way, you are too many to eat. What I want to say, Linda, is that there is nothing in your body that lies. All that is new is telling the truth. I'm here, that's somebody else, an old tree in the background. Darling, stand still at your door, sure of yourself, a white stone, a good stone, as exceptional as laughter. You will strike fire, that new thing. The little peasant. Oh, how the women grip and stretch, fainting on the horn. The men and women cry to each other, touch me, my pancake, and make me young. And thus, like many of us, the parson and the miller's wife lie down in sin. The women cry, come, my fox, heal me. I am chalk white with middle age, so wear me threadbare. Wear me down, wear me out, lick me clean as an almond. The men cry, come, my lily, my fringy queen, my gaudy dear. Salt me a bird and be its noose, bounce me off like a shuttlecock, dance me, dingo sweet. For I am your lizard, your sly thing. Long ago there was a peasant who was poor but crafty. He was not yet a voyeur. He had yet to find the miller's wife at her game. Now he had not enough cabbage for supper, nor clover for his one cow. So he slaughtered the cow and took the skin to town. It was worth no more than a dead fly, but he hoped for profit. On his way he came upon a raven with damaged wings. It lay as crumpled as a wet washcloth. He said, come, little fellow, you're part of my booty. On his way there was a fierce storm. Hail jabbed the little peasant's cheeks like toothpicks. So he sought shelter at the miller's house. The miller's wife gave him only a hunk of stale bread and let him lie down on some straw. The peasant wrapped himself and the raven in the cowhide and pretended to fall asleep. When he lay as still as a sausage, the miller's wife let in the parson, saying, my husband is out, so we shall have a feast, roast meat, salad, cakes, and wine. The parson, his eyes as black as caviar, said, come, my lily, my fringy queen. The miller's wife, her lips as red as pimento, said, touch me, my pancake, and wake me up. And thus they ate, and thus they tingled sweet. Then the miller was heard stomping on the doorstep, and the miller's wife hid the food about the house, and the parson in the cupboard. The miller asked upon entering, what is that dead cow doing in the corner? The peasant spoke up, it is me. I sought shelter from the storm. You are welcome, said the miller, but my stomach is empty as a flour sack. His wife told him she had no food but bread and cheese. So be it, the miller said, and the three of them ate. The miller looked once more at the cowskin and asked its purpose. The peasant answered, I hide my soothsayer in it. He knows 5 things about you, but the 5th he keeps to himself. The peasant pinched the raven's head, and it croaked, Krr, krr. That means, translated the peasant, there is wine under the pillow, and there it sat as warm as a specimen. Krr, krr. They found the roast meat under the stove. It lay there like an old dog. Krr, krr. They found the salad in the bed and the cakes under it. Krr, krr. Because of this, the miller burned to know the 5th thing. How much, he asked, little caring he was being milked. They settled on a large sum, and the soothsayer said, The devil is in the cupboard. And the miller unlocked it. Krr, krr. There stood the parson, rigid for a moment, as real as a soup can, and then he took off like a fire with the wind at its back. I have tricked the devil, cried the miller with delight, and I have tweaked his chin whiskers. I will be as famous as the king. The miller's wife smiled to herself, though never again to Dingo Sweet. Her secret was as safe as a fly in an outhouse. The sly little peasant strode home the next morning, a soothsayer over his shoulder, and gold pieces knocking like marbles in his deep pants pocket. Grrr, grrr. I made it this.
Whoa.
Self in 1958. What is reality? I'm a plaster doll. I pose with eyes that cut open without landfall or nightfall upon some shellacked and grinning person. Eyes that open, blue, steel, and close. Am I approximately an eye magnon transplant? I have hair, black angel stuffing to comb, nylon legs, luminous arms, and some advertised clothes. I live in a doll's house with 4 chairs, a counterfeit table, a flat roof, and a big front door. Many have come to such a small crossroad. There is an iron bed. Life enlarges, life takes aim. A cardboard floor, windows that flash open on someone's city, and little more. Someone plays with me, plants me in the old electric kitchen. Is this what Mrs. Rumbauer said? Someone pretends with me. I'm walled in solid by their noise, or puts me upon their straight bed. They think I am me. Their warmth is not a friend. They pry my mouth for their cups of gin and their stale bread. What is reality to this synthetic doll, who should smile, who should shift gears, should spring the doors open in a wholesome disorder and have no evidence of ruin or fears? But I would cry, rooted into the wall that was once my mother, if I could remember how, or if I had the tears. Divorce, thy name is woman. I am divorcing Daddy, Dybbuk, Dybbuk. I have been doing it daily all my life, since his sperm left him drilling upwards and stuck to an egg. Fetus, fetus glows and glows in that home and bursts out electric, demanding moths. For years it was woman to woman, breast, crib, toilet, dolls, dress-ups. Woman, woman, daddy of the whiskers, daddy of the rooster breath, would visit and then dash away as if I were a disease. Later, when blood and eggs and breasts dropped onto me, Daddy and his whiskey breath made a long midnight visit in a dream that is not a dream, and then called his lawyer quickly, Daddy, divorcing me. I have been divorcing him ever since, going into court with Mother as my witness. And both long dead or not, I am still divorcing him, adding up the crimes of how he came to me, how he left me. I am pacing the bedroom, opening and shutting the windows, making the bed and pulling it apart. I'm tearing the feathers out of the pillows, waiting for Daddy to come home and stuff me so full of our infected child that I turn invisible, but married at last. Gods. Miss Sexton went out looking for the gods. She began looking in the sky, expecting a large white angel with a blue crotch. No one. She looked next in all the learned books, and the prince spat back at her. No one. She made a pilgrimage to the great poet, and he belched in her face. No one. She prayed in all the churches of the world and learned a great deal about culture. No one. She went to the Atlantic, Pacific, for surely God. No one. She went to the Buddha, the Brahma, the pyramids, and found immense postcards. No one. Then she journeyed back to her own house, and the gods of the world were shut in the lavatory. At last, she cried out, and locked the door. Look, you con man, make a living out of your death. Ernest Hemingway, A Movable Feast. Making a living. Jonah made his living inside the belly. Mine comes from the exact same place. Jonah opened the door of his stateroom and said, "Here I am." And the whale liked this and thought to take him in. At the mouth, Jonah cried out. At the stomach, he was humbled. He did not beat on the walls, nor did he suck his thumb. He cocked his head attentively, like a defendant at his own trial. Jonah took out the wallet of his father and tried to count the money, and it was all washed away. Jonah took out the picture of his mother and tried to kiss the eyes, and it was all washed away. Jonah took off his coat and his trousers, his tie, his watch fob, his cufflinks, and gave them up. He sat like an old-fashioned bather in his undershirt and drawers. "This is my death," Jonah said out loud, "and it will profit me to understand it. I will make a mental note of each detail." Little fish swam by his nose, and he noted them and touched their slime. plankton came, and he held them in his palm like God's littlest light bulbs. His whole past was there with him, and he ate that. At this point, the whale vomited him back out into the sea. The shocking blue sky, the shocking white boats, the sun like a crazed eyeball. Then he told the news media the strange details of his death, and they hammered him up in the marketplace and sold him and sold him and sold him. My death the same. Jesus cooks. Jesus saw the multitudes were hungry, and he said, "Oh Lord, send down a short order cook." And the Lord said, "Abracadabra." Jesus took the fish, a slim green baby in his right hand, and he said, "Oh Lord." And the Lord said, "Work on the sly, opening boxes of sardine cans." And he did. Fisherman, fisherman, you make it look easy. And lo, there were many fish. Next, Jesus held up a loaf, and he said, "O Lord," and the Lord instructed him like an assembly line bakerman, a pied piper of yeast, and lo, there were many. Jesus passed among the people in a chef's hat, and they kissed his spoons and forks and ate well from invisible dishes. Jesus walking. When Jesus walked into the wilderness, he carried a man on his back. At least it had the form of a man. A fisherman, perhaps, with a wet nose. A baker, perhaps, with flour in his eyes. The man was dead, it seemed, and yet he was unkillable. Jesus carried many men, yet there was only one man, if indeed it was a man. There in the wilderness, all the leaves reached out their hands, but Jesus went on by. The bees beckoned him to their honey, but Jesus went on by. The boar cut out its heart and offered it, but Jesus went on by with his heavy burden. The devil approached and slapped him on the jaw, and Jesus walked on. The devil made the earth move like an elevator, and Jesus walked on. The devil built a city of whores, each in little angel beds, and Jesus walked on with his burden. For 40 days, for 40 nights, Jesus put one foot in front of the other, and the man he carried, if it was a man, became heavier and heavier. He was carrying all the trees of the world, which are one tree. He was carrying 40 moons, which are one moon. He was carrying all the boots of all the men in the world, which are one boot. He was carrying our blood, one blood. To pray, Jesus knew, is to be a man carrying a man. The fury of overshoes. They sit in a row outside the kindergarten, black, red, brown, all with those brass buckles. Remember when you couldn't buckle your own overshoe, or tie your own shoe, or cut your own meat, and the tears running down like mud because you fell off your tricycle? Remember big fish when you couldn't swim and simply slipped under like a stone frog? The world wasn't yours. It belonged to the big people. Under your bed sat the wolf, and he made a shadow when cars passed by at night. They made you give up your nightlight and your teddy and your thumb. Oh, overshoes, don't you remember me pushing you up and down in the winter snow? Oh, thumb, I want a drink, it is dark. Where are the big people? When will I get there? Taking giant steps all day, each each day and thinking nothing of it. The fury of cocks. There they are, drooping over the breakfast plates, angel-like, folding in their sad wing, animal sad, and only the night before, there they were, playing the banjo. Once more the day's light comes with its immense sun, its mother trucks, its engines of amputation, whereas last night the cock knew its way home, as stiff as a hammer battering in with all its awful power. That theater. Today it is tender, a small bird, as soft as a baby's hand. She is the house, he is the steeple. When they fuck, they are God. When they break away, they are God. When they snore, they are God. In the morning they butter the toast, they don't say much. They are still God. All the cocks of the world are God, blooming, blooming, blooming into the sweet blood of woman. Rowing. A story, let it go, let it come. I was stamped out like a Plymouth fender into this world. First came the crib with its glacial bars, then dolls and the devotion to their plastic mouths. Then there was school, the little straight rows of chairs blotting my name over and over, but under sea all the time, a stranger whose elbows wouldn't work. Then there was life with its cruel houses and people who seldom touched, though touches all. But I grew, like a pig in a trench coat I grew. And then there were many strange apparitions, the nagging rain, the sun turning into poison and all of that, saws working through my heart, but I grew, I grew. And God was there like an island I had not rowed to. Still ignorant of him, my arms and my legs worked, and I grew, I grew. I wore rubies and bought tomatoes, and now in my middle age, about 19 in the head, I'd say, I am rowing, though the oarlocks stick and are rusty and the sea blinks and rolls like a worried eyeball. But I am rowing, though the wind pushes me back, and I know that the island will not be perfect. It will have the flaws of life, the absurdities of the dinner table, but there will be a door, and I will open it, and I will get rid of the rat inside of me, the gnawing, pestilential rat. God will take it with his 2 hands and embrace it. As the African says, this is my tale which I have told. If it be sweet, if it be not sweet, take somewhere else and let some return to me. This story ends with me still rowing. Riding the elevator into the sky. As the fireman said, don't book a room over the 5th floor in any hotel in New York. They have ladders that will reach further, but no one will climb them. As the New York Times said, the elevator always seeks out the floor of the fire and automatically opens and won't shut. These are the warnings that you must forget if you're climbing out of yourself, if you're going to smash into the sky. Many times I've gone past the 5th floor, cranking upward, but only once have I gone all the way up. 16th floor, small plants and swan stones bending into their grave. Floor 200, mountains with the patience of a cat. Silence wearing its sneakers. Floor 500, messages and letters centuries old. Birds to drink, a kitchen of clouds. Floor 6,000, the stars, skeletons on fire, their arms singing, and a key, a very large key that opens something, some useful door, somewhere up there. The play. I am the only actor. It is difficult for one woman to act out a whole play. The play is my life, my solo act, my running after the hands and never catching up. The hands are out of sight, that is, off stage. All I am doing on stage is running, running to keep up, but never making it. Suddenly I stop running. This moves the plot along a bit. I give speeches, hundreds, all prayers, all soliloquies. I say absurd things like, eggs must not quarrel with stones, or keep your broken arm inside your sleeve, or I am standing upright but my shadow is crooked, and such and such. Many boos, many boos. Despite that, I go on to the last lines. To be without God is to be a snake who wants to swallow an elephant. The curtain falls. The audience rushes out. It was a bad performance. That's because I'm the only actor, and there are few humans whose lives will make an interesting play. Don't you agree? The rowing endeth. I'm mooring my rowboat at the dock of the island called God. This dock is made in the shape of a fish, and there are many boats moored at many different docks. It's okay, I say to myself, with blisters that broke and healed, and broke and healed, saving themselves over and over, and salt sticking to my face and arms like a gluey skin pocked with grains of tapioca. I empty myself from my wooden boat and onto the flesh of the island. On with it, he says, and thus we squat on the rocks by the sea and play. Can it be true? A game of poker. He calls me. I win because I hold a royal straight flush. He wins because he holds 5 aces. A wild card had been announced, but I had not heard it, being in such a state of awe when he took out the cards and dealt. As he plunks down his 5 aces and I sit grinning at my royal straight flush, he starts to laugh, the laughter rolling like a hoop out of his mouth and into mine, and such laughter that it doubles right over me, laughing a rejoiced chorus at our 2 triumphs. Then I laugh, the fishy dock laughs, the sea laughs, the island laughs, the absurd laughs. Dearest dealer, I with my royal straight flush love you so for your wild card, that untamable, eternal, gut-driven, ha-ha, and lucky love. Us. I was wrapped in black fur and white fur, and you undid me, and then you placed me in gold light, and then you crowned me while snow fell outside the door in diagonal darts, while a 10-inch snow came down like stars in small calcium fragments. We were in our own bodies, that room that will bury us, and and you were in my body, that room that will outlive us. And at first I rubbed your feet dry with a towel because I was your slave. And then you called me princess, princess. Oh, then I stood up in my gold skin, and I beat down the Psalms, and I beat down the clothes, and you undid the bridle, and you undid the reins, and I undid the buttons, the bones, the confusions, the New England postcards, the January 10 o'clock night, and we rose up like wheat, acre after acre of gold, and we harvested. The touch. For months my hand had been sealed off in a tin box. Nothing was there but subway railings. Perhaps it is bruised, I thought, and that is why they have locked it up. But when I looked in, it lay there quietly. You could tell time by this, I thought, like a clock by its 5 knuckles and the thin underground veins. It lay there like an unconscious woman, fed by tubes she knew not of. The hand had collapsed, a small wood pigeon that had gone into seclusion. I turned it over, and the palm was old, its lines traced like fine needlepoint and stitched up into the fingers. It was fat and soft and blind in places, nothing but vulnerable. And all this is metaphor, an ordinary hand just lonely for something to touch that touches back. The dog won't do it. Her tail wags in the swamp for a frog. I'm no better than a case of dog food. She owns her own hunger. My sisters won't do it. They live in school except for buttons and tears running down like lemonade. My father won't do it. He comes with a house, and even at night he lives in a machine made by my mother and well oiled by his job. The trouble is that I'd let my gestures freeze. The trouble was not in the kitchen or the tulips, but only in my head. My head. Then all this became history. Your hand found mine. Life rushed to my fingers like a blood clot. Oh, my carpenter, the fingers are rebuilt. They dance with yours. They dance in the attic and in Vienna. My hand is alive all over America. Not even death will stop it. Death shedding her blood. Nothing will stop it. For this is the kingdom, and the kingdom comes.